So that we want everyone to speak the language is not something I think that's up for debate, right? Personally, I think globally we can agree that if you are choosing to immigrate into your country, or even if you're a refugee or whatever, and you're ending up in that country, I think it is your utmost responsibility, of course, to try to learn the local language. I think that's the least sometimes that you can do. I think that's extremely important. And for some of the cases where I've personally, I've lived in California for a long time. One of my best friends there, she was Vietnamese, first generation Vietnamese. Her parents were Vietnamese, and they immigrated during the Vietnam War, or they fled to the US. And both of them, they could not speak English. They tried really hard and they never quite learned it. But the reason being is because they worked ridiculous amount of hours in order to truly kind of create a better life for their kids. So in my book, that's the only, very, very sweet though people. And I think in my book, that's the only excuse, right? If you're really to the point of working yourself almost sick in order to try to provide, right? Because obviously, they had nothing. They came from nothing. But the fact that I think everyone or most of the other comments seem to have a problem with, and also in my book, is that if you're putting that out there on the billboard, it portrays also Austria, I think, or at least Vienna, in a certain light. And I think when we're putting that out there, it has definitely a xenophobic undertone. And I think we need to ask ourselves if this is the way we want to be perceived. And I recently was, for instance, visiting Dubai. I visited a couple of my Arab friends. And then I think the word Habibi, which I think we all know what it means. So for those of us who don't know what it means, Habibi is usually a term used when you're speaking to a male, and means something like my beloved. So I think when you're using it, of course, when you also have Arab friends, and then it's among your friends circle language, and you're just adding it really cute like Habibi in that context, it might be okay. However, I would still be, of course, careful to use that term if I'm myself not Arab. With that being said, in context also of that billboard and with that ad, and you can go back to my video to check the whole thing that started this, is that it was used in a mocking way and in a provocative way. So to me, it came across as a rhetorical device almost to stereotype or talk at immigrant communities, particularly that one group of immigrant community, and not with them. And I think that is the main problem. And as with absolutely anything when it comes to communication, context is so important. Context is key. So anyways, to be completely transparent, I am Viennese and I grew up in Vienna. I haven't lived in Vienna now for quite a while, but still, I am Viennese for generations already. But I've also been immigrant to a few other countries, and I was not proud when I saw that billboard, to be honest with you, because it was used in such a sarcastic tone. So to me, it's often stereotype. It is stereotype dressed up in smart language. And I think the whole point is that language can unite, and that, obviously we want people to feel welcome here, but it also requires you, to learn German. And so I think that's the irony of the statement, because we want them to learn the language in order to unite, but then we're using language to exclude. So just really something to think about.